What are boundaries that would assure that you're in the right path towards what you want? Like, could you give us a list of maybe 3 boundaries that you feel like work for people?
100%. So I would say if you're dating online, if he hasn't asked you out within a week, you need to drop it. If you are not in a committed relationship within 2.5 to 3 months, you need to drop it.
Ooh.
If you are not engaged or married within 2 years, you need to drop it.
These are very short numbers to me. Tell me,
why are they short?
Are they short to you?
I think that the 2 years, in my opinion, seems to be an age thing. I feel like if I was 26, 27, and someone was ready to marry me in 2 years, I'd be like, oh, have we like really experienced more yet? Are we in a financial place for marriage? I'm actually surprised you said 2 years. For some reason in my brain, I thought you would say 3.
A man knows. A man knows pretty quickly. And what I know, I get at least 3 or 4 women into relationships every week. I have an engagement every month. What I will tell you is this. He knows probably within the first 6 months. And then after that, he is saving for a ring and a wedding. I literally have 5 men that are doing it for my clients right now.
Ooh, I want to ask the room. Do you guys know in 6 months, have you, let's get a gauge. We've got 4 men here. Do you date women too? Okay. Have you felt that for yourself? Yeah.
Okay.
And what about the 2 to 3 months? Because Wolf told me once, Wolf's our engineer here, that who I probably would say I've had the most deep conversations with about dating, and you seem like a very intentional dater. You told me a year, and you're saying 2 to 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
Why do you take a year? That seems crazy to me.
To make someone your girlfriend.
I think 4 to 6, but a year is fucking crazy.
Yeah, you don't have a mic, so we're not going to keep asking you.
He said that he feels like things will come to the surface after a year. Now, I just feel like a year, I'm letting you play with me. If a woman goes past a certain...
So let me answer that. And this is why it's important for women to have boundaries, right? Because you shouldn't be waiting a year.
Yeah.
Whoever knows that you are it will make it happen, right? And so that's why it's important for women specifically to have those boundaries, because you can't abdicate or give away your power to someone who may not know if they want to be with you or not.
I have a question.
You have to make that choice for yourself. You have to be in full control of your dating life, and you can't give your power away to someone else.
So I've been talking to my friends who think I'm kind of nuts. I give people 2 weeks and 2 weeks to see me. So I don't care where you're at on the globe. I feel like if you're interested in me and we're talking, you have 2 weeks to see me. Otherwise, I'm no longer interested. However, with wanting the 2-week mark, as well as maybe send me flowers, can I ask you, what is the difference between a woman showing up assertive and showing up aggressive? And could a woman saying that this is what they need in order for them to feel like you're interested, could that push them away? So how do you show up between the two?
Mm-hmm. Well, there's a difference between, it's all in communication style.
Okay.
Right? There are some women that communicate in a masculine way, and there are some women that communicate in a feminine way, right? There's a difference between, I need flowers, I need you to come and see me, I need you da-da-da-da-da, versus, I would feel really connected, and I would really be happy if you came to see me. There's a way to communicate things from a feminine energetic perspective versus a masculine energetic perspective. Masculine is thought. Masculine is action, do. Feminine is centered around the feelings and being. And I will tell you this, a lot of women of color specifically are in their masculine energy for a variety of different reasons. What I know for sure, and the deeper reason behind that is because there's actually a lack of feminine energetic love when they're being raised. So a lot of Black mothers are very judgmental and highly critical. And so what happens, and also I will just say this, from a lot of fathers, they're also emotionally or physically absent. So what that teaches Black girls growing up is that they can't rely on anyone. They don't have a safe space, so they have to be their own safe space. So what happens, though, and how that translates into adulthood is that Now you're in your masculine. You have to take care of everything. But the problem with that is when you're in your masculine, because relationships are about complements, they're about the yin and the yang. So when you're in your masculine, you will attract two kinds of men. One, a man that is in his dominant feminine energy, who's looking for a mother. Yeah. And two, a man that is in his hyper or toxic masculine energy. And he will want to forcibly submit
Bring your
you
ass down.
into your feminine.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, those are the two kinds of men that will have. So one of the things that I do in my program for my clients is I help them create a balance of both the masculine and feminine, so that they can also meet men specifically, that have also a balance as well. One of the things that has happened that maybe a lot of people aren't necessarily talking about is, you know, in the 90s, we had, I don't know, 75% of our households that were run by single mothers. And that has an effect on how we bond with each other.
I'm
want
statistics.
I want to specifically say this affects the way that men also bond with women. So when you're talking about, I need a man to do this, and be very particular, it's really a defense mechanism because they've been going through a lot of bullshit, because a lot of these men have been thought to believe that they are the prize. What we call enmeshment, which means that they're raised to be a bit entitled. A lot of these single mothers will actually treat these young men growing up as surrogate partners. They call them king, they call them all these other things. And so all of the attention, everything is for them. And so they believe that that is how you are
Right.
supposed to be in relationship with women, right? And that's not necessarily the case. So when you tell me that there are a lot of women that are demanding, it is really because they've experienced a lot of men that are like that. Unfortunately, I'm not here to shit or shade on anybody. I'm here to share with you that a lot of things that maybe people aren't talking about in the context and the why behind it all.
I am absolutely understanding how you've done this 15 years. I think just the example of why we're so aggressive when asking for these things, I've even had to calm down. I don't know if you believe in astrology, but I think the only thing that's helped me is my Pisces emotional attitude that I've been able to approach things with. With all the pain from relationships, I definitely have a laundry list of things for myself that I know I need. I try not to necessarily pressure someone with them. And I'm in a relationship right now, but I have found that I may find ways to sneak them in or even make mention at what I've done to other partners. Oh, well, XYZ happened to me and they're no longer here. And I haven't really found a healthy way to talk about my boundaries without letting them know this is a hard limit. And I'm curious, when not in a relationship, but let's just say, because I don't want to speak for myself, in the dating weeds, you're starting to like someone. How do you let them know as a partner how they need to show up? Because what you just mentioned about that to me is preliminary and a really good example of it. But how can we do that once we're in it? Once we know someone's a vibe, how do we test them
So
out?
here's how I think about this. So we have this full courtship, right? And I always say that I think women and men think about it differently. So I think men kind of go into it with like a zero mentality, meaning I don't even know her. I don't even like her yet, right? We have to figure out if I like her. Women oftentimes will start at 100, right? And
Mm-hmm.
be like, okay, if he messes up, I'm taking him down to 90. And we wait until he gets to a certain point before. So I say all that to say, many women do exactly what you just said. I want to make sure that he stays at 100, which is my idealized version of who I want him to be, instead of letting him be who he is, right? Which means kind of I want women to actually start from zero and allow him to prove himself in a lot of different ways. So I say all of that to say, I don't want you to tell him exactly what you want or what you need. Not early in the courtship. I always think that the date 3 is a huge inflection point in the courtship. It shows a level of investment. And so from first conversation to date 3, you're in observation mode. You just need to see what his homeostasis is, what his natural way of being is. Because you can give him You can give him the answers to the test, and he can cram and copy them and perform for a good 3 weeks, 3 months. But is that his natural way of being?
Is
It's
date 3
interesting.
related to the sex time?
Excuse me?
See,
I feel like
think he
most
said
people
date.
have sex around date 3. Is that in relation to when you just said date 3 is a investment?
Date 3 is an investment. Most women have sex on date 3 because there's a passive and active pressure that happens on date 3 that comes from film, media, all of these other things, and pressure from the patriarchy, right? That's just something that is expected of them. Many of them understand that, know that, and feel like they have to. That's why there's like a bit of a dip when it comes to after date 3, because also men are expecting that as well.
That's interesting because
My boyfriend just
yeah.
said this thing about date 3 to me.
Okay.
We had sex on date 3, right? And he said, I was like, what did we have sex on date 4? He said, for some reason in my brain, and this is someone who can have sex with whoever he wants, right? Most men can. He's like, in date 3, if I'm not feeling an intense sexual energy, I start to think, are we better as friends? And I actually don't know if that's pressure he's putting on someone or if it's where his brain thinks from the interest of the woman. So I agree with you. It is something that people are just used to happening. Because to say that you're not sure if it doesn't get there, he's like, maybe she's not that into me. To be honest, I kind of get it too. Remember when I was dating that guy who wasn't having sex with me? And I was like, he must not be there? The guy from Dreamville. The same thought. Date 3 happened, date 4. And I was like, oh yeah, he wants to be my friend.
I mean, to me, it's interesting because for what I know dating to look like currently, it takes so long to get to date 3 because people are juggling and dating so many different people at once. And not only are they not actively going on dates, they're spending a lot of time texting, having phone conversations, FaceTiming, DMing, sending memes. There's so many actual conversations happening before you meet a person in person. And then so to get to date 3, sometimes getting to date 3 can take a month or 2 with one person because you're actively dating other people. So I find that a little bit difficult or maybe not something that could be related to people that are actively dating multiple people.
And so are you recommending that women date one man at a time?
No, never.
Okay, good.
Always date multiple. I call it Olympic dating. You need to have a gold medalist, a silver medalist, and a bronze medalist at all times.
I think that's the difficulty, though, that I'm seeing as well. I think right now with social media and women being okay with this concept, it's almost like our attention spans, the same way it's related to music and now TV shows. We're upset when the whole season isn't there available to us and we have to wait even a week for a new episode. Our attention spans are so short that we're constantly seeking, okay, if he's not all the way on me, I just want someone else to be. And that's what I realize myself and my friends are navigating with dating right now. Like, there's just so many that after 2 weeks, I'm no longer interested in him. They're just falling by the wayside.
Most of them will.
Okay.
And that's why you date multiple men.
You just saw a clip from the Horrible Decisions podcast.
To check out more full episodes and the rest of our content, check the links down below.